so jou probleem is, jou spuit is nou maar net te klein. Horsch het besluit om daai probleem vir jou op te los. 'n 8000 liter spuit op Agritechnica. Nou Mike, nee. Waar's Mike? Daar's Mike. Nee. Hulle lyk almal dieselfde hierso. Mike is die kenner op hierdie ding. Hy gaan my presies verduidelik hoe werk daai ding en ek het nou gesien wat 6 voet is wat onder deur daai ding loop. Check hierso. Mike, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
No, good, thanks. Okay, so behind you is most probably the smallest sprayer I have ever seen.
It could be small, but maybe small for South Africa, but this is pretty big for Canada.
So tell me a little bit about this one. 8,000 liters, 460 horsepower, I think.
Yes.
If I'm correct.
Yes.
So if I'm not spraying with this, can I hitch the ripper as well?
Haven't had that happen yet, but I'm going to try to talk in metric as much as I can here for you. In Canada, we use, acres and gallons, but, 8,000 liters our tank size on this. But it'll be a little bit more than 8,000 liters, so you'll fit, roughly 8,400, 8,800, somewhere in that range in our tank. You also have the high lift on this now, right? So this will be the first time a sprayer of this size of tank is able to go spray tall corn with the hydraulic lift. So, you hit a button in the cab, the hydraulics will drop it down to a 60-inch height and then up to an 80-inch height.
So what I want to know is, when they designed this and went like, okay, cool, we are just gonna go a little bit crazy, overboard, and if I'm correct, and I don't know, I haven't seen anything closely even to this. Is this the biggest sprayer in the world at this stage?
Biggest sprayer in the world for the tank size? No, there'll be other sprayers that'll have bigger tanks.
Yeah.
But in North America, yes, this will be the biggest sprayer in North America in terms of the lift capacity and the tank size. Boom size, we're at 160 feet, right? So roughly 48 meters, right? It'll be the same width of the boom.
Okay. What was the basic principles when they designed this sprayer in terms of, okay, what do we need to focus on?
So the interesting part about this sprayer on the design side is it's modular. This same frame can be used with a smaller tank, so any size of boom, any size of tank, any size of engine, and any size of wheel motor. We have different options on all of those using the same frame.
So it's the same platform, am I correct? So you basically, I can get down this way. This is the only sprayer that I don't have to walk underneath and have to worry about it. So what you're telling me is basically the chassis going through here, that's the same on all the sprayers.
Correct. So on the VL model, this single beam design down the middle, right, will always be the same. Our options for our axles in and out, the hydraulic lift, right, the tanks, the booms, the tire size, the wheel motor size, the hub size, that's all optional, and it makes you, this one right here pretty much has every spec on it, which makes it, our higher priced unit. But you can spec this same sprayer with, a poly 5,000 liter tank and a 310 horsepower engine and smaller wheel motors and no lift kits, and it really reduces the cost on it.
So, and when they designed the platform, what was the thought process behind what should it be able to do?
Well, I like to cover big acres per day, right? So with this machine, what I've always wanted to do is to be able to get all my spraying done so I can make it home in time for dinner at night, right? So with this machine, I can unfold a 160-foot boom. We can still run, 18 mile an hour with this. We're a 48-meter boom, sorry. And we're covering, it's 18 miles an hour. That's 380 some acres per hour is what you're spraying with this.
So that's more or less 100, it's 180. How many did you say?
380 acres per hour.
Yeah, well, that's 180, 190 hectares per hour that you're basically doing.
Correct, yeah.
Geez, so but that's going in long. If you don't have to turn so much and so.
Correct, that's our gross number, so you minus off the amount of time you would waste turning on the headlands and stuff like that. But the way this boom is designed, I can drive this 160-foot boom almost the same as a 120, right? The boom stability and the way it handles in the field. We're going through hills with this thing in Western Canada that we never thought we would be. So the flex on the contour of the boom, right, and the contour of the center rack allows us to go through the hills.
But that's the thing. So first of all, and we'll get to the business end just now, but I mean, everything I'm guessing starts in the way the suspension works and with the chassis, and then going to the back end.
Yeah, so if you want to start at the tires, you want to carry around the big weight of an 8,000 liter tank, right? We try to put as big a tires on as possible. So these are 380 105 R54 tires, which will be the tallest tire you can get in the 380 millimeter size, right? For the floater tires, I don't know if South Africa, if you run the fat tires or not, but we put 900 millimeter tires on for the fats, so big 900s.
So depending on what your row sizes is and so forth.
Correct.
Or if you do, like we call it spoorverkeer, the training tracks type of thing.
So also as an option, you could put on a spacer here, right? 30 inches over, and then a dual 380 tire if you want, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and what I also see is, and I just saw it from here now, so the engine is sitting in the front, am I correct?
Yeah, engine's in the front. The reason why it's designed like this with cab in the front, engine, tank, and boom is the weight balance.
Yeah.
To try to get that weight balance correctly with any other layout makes it very difficult, right? So if that tank is right empty or if that tank is right full, it's still really close to a 50-50 weight balance, booms in or booms out, right?
I'm with you. Okay, so, and then, do you have the fill on the side, or is it just this one?
Yes, so you have a front fill, you have a side fill. When you want to use the front fill, there's a button on the side, but it can also be dropped down from in the cab. Once you're done filling, you drive away, it automatically sucks the front fill back up.
Yeah.
You can fill your rinse tank through here, you can fill your main tank through here. This shows you your tank level and also your rinse tank level. If I'm standing up on the trailer, I can probably see that from 50 feet away. It lights up at night in yellow here, so I can see it's up on the trailer while I'm mixing. So if I go to my side fill, you'll also have the same thing. You'll have a rinse tank fill and your 3-inch chemical fill. I don't know if I can reach it here, but we'll try. If I open this, it might not close again. So, so my 3-inch fill is right here.
We're gonna have to.
I'll need a ladder to drop her down. I don't know if I can start the engine in here to drop it down again, but all of it's electronic though. So you see all those yellow valves up there? Those are all banjo valves, so standard to all the other sprayer manufacturers in North America. So parts are easy to find and source. So we're all banjo plumbing throughout the whole machine. We're an FPT Iveco engine, so same as all the CNH sprayers, right? We got to use DEF in Canada. I don't know if you use DEF in South Africa.
As far as possible not, but sometimes we have to.
So yeah, we got to use, so this machine here we sold to Illinois in North America, so it'll have DEF on it, but your South African machines probably won't, right?
Depending on what they want.
Yeah.
So, and this is also, you're going to have to give us a strap or something here to be able to.
So to get up and down on it, usually, like we're showing it off in the high position right now. But when I get out of the sprayer, I always hit the button first before I get out. It drops it down to the low position.
So then you put it in Mexican mode.
Yeah, Mexican mode or short South African mode. And then that step will be, right about there. You're down low so you can get up into the cab easily. The ladder goes up and down automatically when you're hitting the park brake, but obviously we're showing it right now. We don't want people climbing up there, so that's why the ladder's in the up position. So.
100%. Okay.
The cab itself is a Kloss cab, so same as a Kloss combine. We've made a few.
This one that's here.
Yeah, we'll go take a look at that.
Yeah. Okay, so but let's get in the cab and then you can show me quickly.
Let's hop in here. Okay, before we get in, how many beers do you bring with you when you go spraying?
Now it's going to be enough, eh?
So how many can you fit in there?
Yes, I would say at least a case.
Oh yeah.
So 24 at least.
That's your fridge, right? Or lunch, beers, whatever you want to put in there, right? So it's
going to have our own party here.
That's right. So this is a standard Kloss cab from the combine cab, right? But we've done some new things in it that are different from Kloss. Number one, phone charger and holder right here.
Oh, that's cool.
There's nothing worse than when you go into the cab, right, and somebody stole your phone charger. And I'm not sure if it's hooked up and working here in this one for the demo, but we'll try it.
Yeah, there it goes. Charging.
Yeah, it's charging there. There, it holds it into place. When you tap on the bottom, then it comes out again, right, just like that. This is really cool. This is an Apple CarPlay radio now and touchscreen. So as soon as I get into the cab, it's gonna hook up through the Wi-Fi on my phone, right? All of my Google Maps, all of my apps, all my Spotify, whatever podcasts I wanna listen to, I wanna put on Metallica max volume, it's all done through here.
Yeah.
There's an app called My Radar, so when I'm spraying, I can see where I am on the map, but it also shows me the radar, So if the clouds are coming in, I'll be able to tell if I can continue to spray or not, right? So instead of checking on my phone for the forecast, I look up here at the screen, I can see the clouds rolling in.
And if you don't trust that one and you've got your own radar thing, you've still got the phone in a nice position to go and do that.
So now when you're using this, so say you're driving, you're spraying a headland, right? And I see somebody's calling me, it pops up on the screen here. I can hit this button right here and it'll answer the phone, so all your controls are on the right-hand side. But I'm using the Siri off my phone, so I can just say, you know, hey Siri, call this guy, text this guy. I never actually touch my phone anymore. I'm just using my own voice and looking at the screen to call the guy in the water truck or sell grain or whatever I'm up to that day, right?
Can we, and this Apple CarPlay, can we change that into video?
Yes. So,
okay, so the guys can watch the Farmspace on there.
Yes. So there's a certain sequence of buttons. They lock it out when the machine is moving, but I know the code to change it. You can hit the buttons on here in a certain way that you can play Netflix, you can watch videos, you can watch my YouTube videos or your YouTube videos on the screen while you're spraying.
Perfect.
Right? So, you know, if you want to learn how to clean out the sprayer or how to start a job or anything, you could have one of my videos playing up here on this screen and touch the buttons down here on your monitor, right?
Awesome.
The GPS itself, it's whatever you like. So we're completely colorblind on GPS. If you like John Deere, Trimble, Raven, Topcon, whatever you like, we'll make work on the isobus display.
Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly. So this guy down here will be mostly just auto steer and mapping. This guy up here is going to be showing all the stuff that I like to see while I'm in the isobus. So right now, if you want to see your target rate, your actual rate, your tank levels, your boom sections on and off, your master switch on and off, your pump on and off, your pressures, all that stuff is going to be up here. And I can see all that while I'm spraying. I can see my auto steer and mapping down here. So we tried to keep it that I don't have to be flipping between any pages while I'm spraying. And it's all set up correct.
You know what I like, okay?
Yep.
Is in a lot of instances, people just put up the screens without thinking about it.
Yes.
Okay? But what I see here is just everything is put up where the pillar is.
Yep.
So it is in essence you are that is a little bit blocked, but now it's fine. It doesn't really, can I say, interfere with your peripheral vision.
Exactly. So
listen to me with my big English words.
No, you're doing great. So you usually do these interviews in
Afrikaans.
In Afrikaans. Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you for doing it in English. Otherwise, you'd just be talking and
just
me
for you.
confused, right? So hopefully your viewers know how to understand this. But
we hope so. By this time, the English is getting up, but we're getting there.
Good. So the reason why this one's down here, then obviously it's a touchscreen, right? So all this is all touchscreen. This one here is a touchscreen. The one up here, that's not a touchscreen.
Yeah.
All the controls are done with the dial on this guy here. So if I want to see my cameras,
So you just turn it there.
turn it there. I go to this one here. I can change it all. It's all customizable if I want to put different things, you know, on
Because
those
you're not-
pages, right?
Unless you're an octopus, you're not getting to that screen.
No, you're not
very
going to reach
easily.
it up there. So what I like setting up on that screen, I put, you know, my spray information, but I'll put my cameras up there. So we have a new option that came out that we kind of prototyped in Canada, but it's a camera right on your boom tip, on the outside right boom tip. So when I'm spraying my field counterclockwise, instead of looking over my right shoulder at my boom tip,
Just do it there.
I look up here, I keep my fence right down the middle of the screen, and I look forward instead of looking over my shoulder, right?
Love that.
Oh yeah, it's a great option. Once guys have that option, it's hard to go back to looking over your
And
shoulder.
it's such a stupid idea. Actually, it is. It's so simple.
What did you call my idea stupid?
No,
Come
well,
on.
sorry about calling you ideas stupid. I mean, you see, this is now where the English gets up.
Yeah,
But it's so simple because it's just. Yeah. Okay. Why didn't we think about that anymore before?
Well, I fully predict that'll go on to pretty much every sprayer in the
100%,
future, but you'll know where it
totally
came on the
agree with
first
you.
one, right? So, other things that are new, joystick is now redesigned completely by Horsch. So
Yeah.
for our new cab, we're still using the Kloss Combine right-hand console, but this joystick is
the thing is, yeah.
This joystick is made by Horsch. If you want to see what all the buttons do, if you hit this I button right here, up here it's going to show you what everything is programmed as, right? So all of these buttons can be programmed to whatever you want. So if you want to customize it to whatever you like. The other thing that it does unique is there's a shift button on the back. So if I hold down this shift button just like a CNH Combine,
Yes.
this light turns blue, and now all these buttons have a different function. So you can program them all to do two things.
So you've now got a crap load of functions that you can basically do.
There's more buttons than there is functionality of the sprayer, right? So I have the trigger to do everything twice. So basically 36 different things it can do without having to take your hand off the joystick. Anything that I want to change on the sprayer while the sprayer is moving, I don't want to have to touch a screen. I want it done from the joystick while the sprayer is moving. So things like, you know, lifting my booms up and down, turning sections on and off manually, those types of things should all be done on the joystick. Turning my fence rows on and off, that type of stuff.
And intuitively, so that you know, okay, listen, it's also, it becomes muscle memory.
Exactly, exactly. Another nice option, it'll swivel over to the right. There's my button here. Oh, it's like somebody must have broke it during the show here. But the seat does swivel all the way over to the right, and you have foot pegs here when you're swiveled over to the right.
So you've got the same as what you get in some tractors.
Exactly. So now, next interview you do, I want you to do this same test, but count how many cup holders are in the cab.
Yeah, I was counting them now. I'm like, there's 2 already.
Two right here.
There's one there at the bottom.
One right here, and I got
3.
2 more right down here. So you got 5 cup holders in here.
So you're not like Toyota Hilux, you are competing on cup holders.
That's right. So you walk around Agritechnica, you count cup holders in the cab. We'll see if anybody else has 5.
I'm going to do that.
There you go.
Okay,
perfect.
Okay, so 5 there, that helps already.
Yeah, 5, we're in the leaderboard with 5. Okay, so this is new for this year. I got to show you this. So this is what we won the silver medal for the Innovation Award this year. We had an ultrasonic sensor, which is that sensor, if you can see it right up there. I don't know if you can zoom in on that.
Yes, I remember those ones, the round one there.
So an ultrasonic sensor has a range of about 2 meters.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks 2 meters.
Yeah,
right there. So it looks about 2 meters forward, and it comes down in a band like this, okay?
Yeah.
So 2 meters in a band like this, and it bounces back and it shows you what's in front. If you look at this guy right here, this one has a range of about 20 meters. So if you take this angle and you take it forward and shoot it like this, right? And it also goes out. So it overlaps between the sensors, right?
So it's got a better idea of what's coming before it comes.
So things like lifting up over obstacles in the field that are small, like a beehive or a fence post or something like that, you know, you'll have more opportunity for stuff like that in the future. So it's going to be more reactive instead of just waiting for what's underneath your boom already.
Because I mean, if you're going at, what did you say, 18 miles an hour, let's say 40 kilometers an hour, something like that, or 30 something, and I mean, you don't have a lot of time when stuff comes your way.
You don't, right? Especially at 160-foot booms, you know, I don't want to be looking over my shoulder all the time. I want to be in the cab screwing around on the monitor, right? So these sensors now, if you put 10 of these on the boom all the way across and have that overlap between sensors, in reality, it's gonna be almost like having an ultrasonic sensor every meter.
So
right?
this is almost like your crystal ball. You can look into the future a lot better.
If I had that, I'd be somewhere else right now. I'd be in stock market whiz or something like that. But
so yeah. Okay, and then
so these guys here, not really interesting for what we're doing in North America, but you could have band spraying and it could steer your pull type sprayer based on what the Kloss camera is showing you. But,
so there's different options.
Correct. What I want to show you over here though, for our nozzle control. So if you come over here, so our nozzle control is kind of unique. And do you use the PWM system or what do you use in South Africa? What are you familiar with?
Yeah, PWM most of the time. I'm just thinking about, well, it depends on, everyone has got their own idea of what at the end of the day is the best system for them.
Okay, for me, the one that I like is the one that works every day and doesn't break, right? So durability, consistency, right? I don't want to have to call for parts. I don't want to have to call the shop and the service, right? So there's no electronics here. This is all just air lines, okay? You have power and can up here, but anything below your boom is all gonna be just air lines. You have supply air coming in, signal air coming out on these lines here. The way it works, the operator inside the cab is gonna type in the rate and the desired droplet size. The computer does the rest. So as you're changing your speeds through the field, it's automatically gonna switch between these nozzles to pick the right nozzle for the right speed that you're driving.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't have to ever change nozzles when you change your rates. The computer just picks the right nozzle for you. The way it works, when this guy has air pressure, it'll push against a spring and a diaphragm inside there, lets chemical around and down through the nozzle. As soon as you lose air pressure on this line, that spring pushes close and it's an instant shut off then. So immediately. Nice thing about this is it's simple to fix. If you smash a tree or something like that and you break an air line, I just walk behind and I listen for the air leak and then I go fix it.
Yeah.
Right? If I break a wiring harness, you get out your multimeter and you probably call the service shop to reprogram, you know, one of these controllers or something like that.
Basically.
Exactly.
To get the right one.
Exactly. So other things that it'll do turn compensation. So when I'm turning that 160 boom, it'll put on my smallest nozzles on the inside and possibly all 6 nozzles on the outside.
Okay, but how does this thing work in terms of how does it turn automatically? Has it got an electric motor in there which turns it, or how does it work? Usually
the way I spec them in North America, you'd have 4 nozzles every 20 inches and then you'd have 2 nozzles every 10 inches in between. We wouldn't have this spinner. All this spinner does is allows you to put on these 2 nozzles instead of these 2 nozzles, but that's manual.
So it doesn't do the 4 nozzles?
It doesn't do a spin.
So this is my spare, my spares?
Those are spares over here. These 2 are active in the bottom.
Okay, right. So these 2 at the bottom, it switches between those 2.
So right now, it has the ability to do 4 nozzles every 20 inches, right? Or 2 nozzles every 10 inches. Yeah. What I like to do in Canada, I do a little bit different nozzle setup than what they're showing here. But what I'll do is a twin fan going like this, and a flat fan going like this. The reason why I like to have fine droplets on a twin fan and coarse droplets on a flat fan, all running out of the same pressure on the same boom. So it's given me a full range of droplet sizes out of multiple nozzles, but still out of just one sprayer, right?
So now the guy coming and saying, no, this coarser is better or lighter is better, now you go like, doesn't matter. We can do both.
Exactly. So inside the cab now, we have a droplet size button. So as you're pulling up towards a sensitive area in your field, you can hit the big droplets, which just makes your pressure go lower by putting on a bigger tip. So you can automatically switch that as you're driving through the field. Make sense? Or did I confuse you?
What? No.
Okay.
I'm thinking in terms of, is this basically what you do? You eat, live, sleep, dream sprayers. Is that
Yes. So, little background.
Because I wanted to say you've got too much time on your hands if you're thinking about all this stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, this is all I do. Last 15 years, I've done just sprayers. And probably the best thing I ever did, I took 2 years off from the machinery industry and I went and worked for a big farmer in Canada.
Yeah.
And that guy taught me everything I know, right? And I sprayed 60,000 acres a year and 700 hours a year in the sprayer for him. And owe him a lot because a lot of the ideas on our VL now are things that we learned and experienced.
Practical stuff that you picked up. I wish the sprayer could do this.
Exactly, right? So it's like, I hear people say sometimes like the engineers in the industry should go drive sprayers and actually run the machines. A great example of that this spring, Moritz, my main contact here in Germany, he called me and he said, hey, I got 2 weeks off, right, for holidays.
Yeah.
He's like, can I come run a combine in Canada? And I said, no, you're not. You're coming to run a sprayer that we sold. And we did. So he came and ran the sprayer for 2 weeks, one of the machines that we sold, and then went back to Germany afterwards with that experience, right? So
looked at it from a totally different perspective.
You put yourself in the farmer's shoes, and that's kind of the cool thing about Horsch. This company's owned by farmers. There's a lot of farmers that work here.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that work at the factory go home at night and run their own farm, right? So, and myself personally, when I'm not doing this and telling people all kinds of lies about sprayers or whatever, right? I'm at home and trying to help out on the farm whenever I can, right?
Yeah.
So I like to have that experience because if you can't talk to a farmer about what they're doing, if you haven't experienced it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble trying to do this, right?
Exactly. Well, once when he's asking you the same question twice to test you, then you're already in trouble.
Too late. Yeah.
But let's get to the backside of the sprayer. Okay. So before we get to that,
yes,
the suspension and everything that we've got here, while it's now nice up in the open.
So this suspension right here will not be on that guy over there.
Yeah.
The VL has air suspension. This would be more for our PT or our VN where it's hydraulic suspension.
Yes.
Okay. So air suspension on this, hydraulic suspension for our European version over there. But what you'll see in South Africa, air suspension like we were looking at earlier. So very similar to what a John Deere suspension looks like with the airbag and the 2 cylinders, but we'll have a damper in the front.
And this is just for the hydraulic adjustment in
so,
terms of the width.
So in South Africa, do you adjust the axles quite a bit for the track spacing?
Yeah, depending on, well, if it's a contractor, he needs to adjust constantly on different farmers, but mostly the guys will run it one width and then get it over with.
So I'll tell you one thing I like to do, it's a little bit unique. I'll take the back tires of that sprayer and I'll put them all the way in.
Yeah?
And I'll take my front tires and put them all the way out.
Why?
Why?
Now you're messing with my OCD here.
No, I'll tell you why. So
it's so you make a Land Cruiser out of it.
Yeah,
you put it narrow at the back and wide at the front.
You bet. So do you ever spray in dusty conditions?
Yeah.
So if you spray in dust, what happens to your chemical?
Yeah, it gets what's the word I'm looking for? The dust grabs onto it.
Yeah, it grabs onto it, and the weeds still live in your wheel tracks then, right? So in Canada and Alberta specifically in the spring, it doesn't rain, right? We deal with drought conditions all the time. So when I'm spraying in dusty conditions, if I have that tire running in fresh dirt instead of the dirt that the front tire just ran over, it makes less dust.
Oh.
So if those tires are always in fresh dirt.
Yeah, because if the front tire already basically breaks the surface soil, and then you get that drop. That makes sense because then you get a lot more dust.
Well, next time you're out spraying or you see a sprayer running in the field and you're driving beside it, just look at the tires. Look to see if there's more dust coming off the front tire or the back tire. It's always the back tire.
20 years, we've been doing it wrong. So, but this can go wide enough so that I can actually do that and spray on 2 different rows.
Yes. So the track spacing that you can do is between 3.1 meters, or sorry, 3 meters and 4.1 meters.
Yeah, that's enough.
Yeah. So right now, those 2...
So next time you see someone in the field and it looks like a Land Cruiser, don't laugh at them. It's there for a purpose.
So the other thing, when I talk about that idea, a lot of guys say, well, why do you put the back all the way in and the front all the way out and not vice versa, right? Because if you put your back all the way out, you would assume you'd have more stability on your boom.
Yeah.
Right? I do it the front all the way out. The reason being, if I put my back all the way in, the dust stays further away from my sensors on the boom, right? But also I can see my front tires better if I put my fronts all the way out. So to get my front tires in the row.
So it's a practical thing, and I'm guessing that the stabilization that you've got on the boom is good enough so that that doesn't really matter.
Exactly. So if we look now at our center rack, when that tire is bouncing around through the field, that center rack stays completely stable. So there's a gyroscopic sensor on that center rack, and almost, well, I'm looking at your little camera right now. It's got a gimbal sensor inside there. You're moving your hand side to side, but that gimbal sensor is keeping it completely stable. Works the same way on the back rack. You know, you can be bouncing around through the field, right? But that back rack is staying completely stable. So it works with these 2 hydraulic cylinders here. So if you look up here, you'll see those 2 hydraulic cylinders move this whole back rack side to side. Basically where the color changes from red to black. Red moves with the sprayer frame. Black moves independently with the boom. So when I go and drop my back tires into a molehill or a badger hole or something like that, right, and it bounces the whole machine, the boom stays stable because of those 2 cylinders. So also our boom control. If you're out at 160 feet, right, you have one sensor and you have an outside flex here. Most of the sprayers have a lift right here. So we have a lift here, we have another lift right here, and we also have the whole center rack like this. So if you move the center rack, the inside lift, and the outside lift all at the same time, that outside tip is flying for the speed up and down. Because a very small movement of your center rack is a huge movement to that tip.
Yeah, it's just the basic, it's basic geometry. You get that.
Exactly. So most sprayers, right, they're running off of just the inside lift for your boom height control and your parallelogram cylinder here. So for our machine, we still have the parallelogram cylinder, we still have the inside lift, but we've added 2 more. We've added the outside flex and the inside center rack control. So an extra 2 hydraulic cylinders on the boom control.
So in terms of boom stabilization, this thing is just...
Oh yeah, like I wouldn't be talking about the ground speeds that I am if we couldn't have good stability of that center rack.
And then there's another thing which I think when we visited the factory and they were talking about this thing,
Yeah.
I think Philip actually spoke about that in terms of just being able to spray about 30 centimeters above
Correct.
the crop. And
So-
that's where the main aim is.
So what we looked at over there at the spray stand, that was a 10-inch nozzle spacing. Most sprayers in the industry are 20-inch spacing. The reason why we go with the 10 is so we can run that boom closer to the ground and not leave a miss between the nozzles, right? When it gets windy, well, I'll ask you, I guess, how many kilometers per hour wind do you usually shut your sprayer down? Or do you spray in the wind?
That is depending on when it is and do I need to get the stuff in and weather and whatever. But I would say, ideally, I would say I don't like spraying in anything over 20 kilometers-ish.
Yeah, 20 kilometers is a good number. If you shut down at 20, you're doing a good job. We spray a little bit cowboy in Alberta, so you won't believe this, but I've sprayed at 55 kilometers an hour
Sometimes at 40, you just go, you close your eyes and you just go like, no, everything is going where it's supposed to.
So I had one of my neighbors once, he called me and he says, or a guy we sold one of these sprayers to, he's like, it's about 50, 55K winds.
Jeez.
And he asked, should I be spraying? I'm like, well, you set your boom at a 10-inch height, or I guess 25 centimeter height, right? And you walk behind, you use your cell phone app and test all your nozzles. If you get wet, downwind of this thing, don't spray. And he's like, well, Mike, we didn't get wet. And I'm like,
it's like, well, spray.
Go spray. So he drove slow, right? So he only drove maybe 8 miles an hour that day, kept the boom at that consistent 25 centimeter height, right? And he still kept ahead of the drills and sprayed all day. Now, the interesting thing is, when the agronomist went back and looked at those fields, they asked, like, well, what did you do different that day? Because the best kill we got was that day when the 55K winds were out. So what did we do different? We slowed down, right? We made less dust with the tires because we were driving slower.
Yeah.
But we kept the boom lower, right? But now think about this. If I have a 55K wind, what's that plant doing in front of the boom?
Yeah,
it's moving.
Actually moving the whole time like this because you get these gusts. It's not like it's blowing the whole time constantly.
That's right. But when a droplet leaves the nozzle, it's going 70 kilometers an hour at 40 PSI. If I can keep that height consistently low, because that droplet will lose speed the further it gets away from the nozzle. So if I can keep it going as fast as possible and then hit the target and stick to the target, I don't have to worry about the drift and super high winds.
Yeah.
So as I'm driving over top of that plant, the plant's moving in the wind, the nozzle then hits it, a moving target gets better coverage from a nozzle. So we talked about it.
Interesting.
We talked about it afterwards. We're like, well, maybe we should be waiting till it's extremely windy to spray my worst fields. And
well, but I mean, at the end of the day, one of the things that also, and I mean, you drive faster because you need to get acreage out of the thing, and it's always, there's too many hectares to do with the sprayer and so forth. But when you look at it, and it's the same thing as a planter. I know your Horsch planters can go at ridiculous speeds as well.
Yep.
But the slower you go, the more accurate you'll be. It's just...
Totally agree. And, you know, to do the best job with your chemical and to do the best job spraying, low boom, low drift, low speed, right? So there's a little plug if you want to follow me on Twitter. It's low boom, low drift. You type in my name. But it's true, though. And we proved it in the field. When we drove slower and with an extremely low boom, the chemical worked better. So what I really focus on is big tanks, big booms to increase our capacity, but lower the ground speed.
Yeah.
So if I can lower the speed, do a better job with my chemical, and maybe cover the same acres per day because my tank is bigger and my boom is bigger, right?
I love that, actually. Just in terms of giving me a tool which can still do the hectares at a slower rate.
Yep.
And is not, the way that I understand it, ridiculously priced for what you're getting.
In North America,
it's a premium product, but it's not ridiculously priced.
So I can't speak for the South African market because I've never sold a sprayer in South Africa before, but you know, in North America, we'll be right around just under or around the same price as a John Deere, but more than a Case. Right in that ballpark is where we want to be. I can't be so ridiculously priced that nobody's going to buy one of these things, but you're going to get more specs. So you're going to get bigger engine, bigger horsepower, bigger wheel motors, bigger tires, bigger booms, bigger tank, 4-wheel steer, boom flex, and 10-inch nozzle spacing.
And all the awesome stuff in 5 cup holders.
5 cup holders, and the Apple CarPlay radio, but Deere has that too, right? So pretty much everybody needs to have that, I think.
So, okay, last thing. It's now all these fancy things that you're telling me about.
Yep.
And, but you need to come far forward because we need to get this properly into the, the view.
Yeah.
It's all good and fine,
yes.
Okay? Horsch, relatively new to the spraying market, okay? I know Lieb has been going for years and years and years and basically doing all the R&D and then they go like, okay, no, cool, now it's awesome.
Yeah.
But you've got a hell of a lot of experience with sprayers by the sound of it.
Or maybe I'm just good at talking about them, who knows, right?
But the thing is, I look at longevity for any product. For me, it's, these things are expensive. I need to know that I'm actually buying an asset. What does this thing look like in 5 years' time from now?
So 5 years' time, it's hard for me to say exactly what our machines in Canada will be because, you know, the history of the VL was only 5 years, right? So the 2020, fall of 2020 was the very first VL model. Sure, Horsch has been building the PT and other versions of the European sprayer for a long time. But what I've been kind of looking at is Brazil. So we took the VL to Brazil right around the same time back in 2020. But in Brazil, they put 2,000 hours a year on a sprayer versus Canada where it's only 300, 400, right? So we got machines down in Brazil that'll be 6,000, 8,000 hours already on this model. So that's where I can be very, very confident in Canada where, you know, it'd be pretty rare to see a 5,000 hour sprayer. But we already have 6,000, 8,000 hours on those ones.
I was speaking to 2 years ago, I was in Ukraine quickly. Luckily to the west side.
Okay, yeah.
And the guy showed me a thing of a guy that ran a spray in Kazakhstan.
Yep.
That had for that year, I think it did about somewhere between 80 and 90,000 hectares.
218,000 acres he did,
was that what he did at the end of the day?
I've seen the same screenshot of that guy's sprayer. So what he did every day from basically April till the end of September, he sprayed on average 1,500 acres a day for the entire season.
Jeez.
I don't know how he pulled it off or how that he managed to do it, but that's been the records we've ever recorded was that particular sprayer.
And the machine was going.
He must have been no life. He must have lived in that cab. And that's before we had the Apple CarPlay radio and a nice cab too, right? So that was on our old cab.
But it shows you that it can be done. I mean, I can't see a lot of machines doing that kind of spraying, and it was able to actually do it.
Exactly. I guess one point I want to talk about, and we talked all about the specs on the machine, but you could build the best sprayer in the world, which I truly think we're getting really close now. But it doesn't mean anything if you don't have the parts and the service and the people to look after it, right? So surrounding our dealers with the right knowledge and the right people to keep these machines running is top of the line, I guess, what we really need to accomplish. That's the first thing that has to happen. So just speaking for Canada, again, I can't speak for South Africa, but the way we set up our dealers there, they start slow, just a couple machines. We train the mechanics, we train the parts people, the sales guys, but we have our own Horsch road mechanics and road techs that go out to the field and help those dealerships. Those guys know way more about the sprayer than I do, and they're fantastic. And they're in the field with the farmers, with the mechanics to make sure it all works correct. So a little bit of a different experience from other manufacturers where Horsch wants our employees and our people in the field with the farmers all the time, right?
So I'm glad to hear that that's a worldwide thing and not only in South Africa, because it sounds like they're doing it right on our side as well.
Okay, they do the same thing there?
Yeah,
perfect.
Same type of
Good,
thing.
good.
So yeah, but Mike, listen here, thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and I'm pretty sure we're going to speak again.
Perfect. Thank you, Andre.
Thank you. Right, so dis 'n mond vol, nee, maar die kort en die lank is, as jy in die mark is vir 'n sprayer, kyk 'n bietjie na daai ene, nee. Die dikste een wil ek nou vir jou sê wat ek nog hierso gesien het, en definitief die hoogste van die lot. Dis die van Farmspace af. Kom met Horsch in kontak. Tot volgende keer. Groete.